How significant is this move from Washington?
Well, let's put it this way around. This is more, I think, symbolic than really significant, to be honest with you. I think this is the next step, ratcheting up the rhetoric against Russia by increasing the clampdown and singling out the oligarchs. I mean, there were quite hard words from President Biden saying they were stealing from the Russians and they were supporting Vladimir Putin. We know that some of the oligarchs are actually beginning to feel the bite of the sanctions and are against what President Putin is doing. But they seem to be in the sights of President Biden as being the people who are directly in contact with the president and who could maybe try to sway him and make him change his mind and stop the invasion of Ukraine. It's a long shot, I think, but there are certainly signs that the US administration is trying to do all it can to try to turn the thumbscrews on President Putin. I mean, it's an interesting thing when he says that Russia is going to lose its most favored nation trading status, because that basically means that the US can up the tariffs on Russian goods, which will make them very expensive to import, and that will handicap Russian industry. But there again, as we were seeing in the last few days, when the United States said it was going to ban the import of Russian energy, particularly oil and gas, the US is importing very small amounts of both of those products, far less than the European Union, for example. So it can afford to do that. And I think it's also the same with these goods that it's importing from Russia, namely imports of diamonds, seafood and vodka. But it's a very symbolic measure to show first to the American people that the United States is doing something, and secondly to the European Union and to NATO countries that the US is taking this very seriously and is willing to back them. And one other comment that Biden said at the end of the press conference in response to the only question that he answered was about nuclear warfare, saying that Russia would have a very, very big price to pay if ever it started nuclear warfare.
Now, another thing Biden said was that there would be a ban placed on all future U.S. investments in any sector of the Russian economy. Now, all this comes, Philip, as the European Union says they are planning a raft of further sanctions as well, a fourth round of sanctions on Russia.
Yeah, we had a meeting earlier today, the 2 days of the Versailles conference meeting of the 27 leaders of the European Union, which ended a couple of hours ago with a press conference by President Emmanuel Macron of France, by Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission, and Charles Michel, the President of the European Council, who are announcing a fourth stage of sanctions being imposed on Russia by the European Union. Keen to underline also that the European Union was not at war with Russia, but that the European Union was going to defend every inch of its territory and to also increase the pressure on the Russian President Vladimir Putin, while at the same time supplying aid and military aid to the Ukrainian people. And I think also trying to put forward a unified image of the European Union, which is something, of course, right at the start of this war that President Putin thought he could exploit and split the EU right down the middle. And I think that meeting today quite keen to show that in no way President Putin has done that, and that's been yet another miscalculation on his part.
Thank you very much for that, Philip.